Dirt Killer. Let's kill some dirt.
What's up, guys? This is Old Man Wags here to show you the live demonstration of the V7 model by BE. If you remember our last unboxing video, we were comparing this to some of the box store brands. We're going to show you piece for piece why this is better in just about every way. Let's go ahead and walk around. We're going to show you guys everything that we need to do to get started. The very first thing that you need to do is get the water hookup situated and secured down as snug as possible. The second thing you need to do is put your high pressure hose on. As you can see, I've already stretched this out completely. The reason is that gets drastically more difficult once it's under pressure. Now what I'm going to do to start it, you'll notice I do not have a nozzle in. The whole reason is as I'm starting this and pulling, I'm going to squeeze the trigger so that there's less strain on the engine. It'll start easier when it's cold. So let's go ahead and walk around to the front of the unit. On the right hand side, we have our engine kill switch. This is for off and for on. We come around to the other side of the full start. We have the gas valve as well as the choke valve. For a cold start only, we're gonna bring the choke valve all the way to the left. We're gonna bring that gas valve all the way to the right. I've already put some fuel in it. We're gonna go ahead and get it started. You'll see it struggling to start for a second. As it warms up, we're gonna bring that choke valve right back to the right. That's gonna be the run position. After it warms up, that's where it's gonna be. Everything's gonna run flawlessly. Let's go ahead and fire her up, and we'll see how she does. All right, so what we just did there is we just basically warmed up the machine. I like doing that before I actually start cleaning anything. Now let's zoom in on what we're gonna be focusing on today to clean with this machine. The first thing we're gonna tackle is some concrete. This is what a lot of homeowners like to do around their house. There are sidewalks, there are walkways, anything like a pool deck, all that stuff you're just using the flat tips and basically pulling as much away from the surface as possible. As you can see, this is a pretty dirty surface. This is underneath our floor mat for entering our showroom, so it does get pretty trashed. There's a lot of just foot traffic in here, and there's also a lot of water that gets stuck underneath of it, so it's a good, easy spot that you guys can focus on cleaning for a second. First, we're going to use the flat tip, and we're just going to see how it does. We're going to clean a small corner of it. In our next video, we're going to check out a surface cleaner and see how that compares to this one. Let's go ahead and fire it back up. We're going to kill some dirt. All right, so as you can see, that did a really easy job. It cut through everything like a hot knife through butter. Did a really nice job cleaning it up. Just to compare, check out the next video. We're gonna fire up that surface cleaner and see what it does. This is an additional accessory that pairs perfectly with this machine. Its primary use is cleaning some concrete. So check out this stain. We see what the wand did. Let's fire up this accessory and see what happens. All this does is just quick connect into the end of your lance and you're good to go. So let's fire her up. Alright, so as you can see from that video, in about the same amount of time it took me to do a panel about yay big with just a flat tip, I was able to clean this entire square. The reason that's relevant, if you want to step back and see this entire strip, on average, a surface cleaner is going to save you about a third the time it will with a wand. You also have the fact that it's way more consistent than anything you're doing by hand, and just the fact that it's way easier on your back. Now that video wasn't to show proper form or anything, it was just to demo what the actual surface cleaner can do. As you can see, it did an awesome job. The only thing I had to do was give it a quick rinse to get some of that debris off the sidewalk. Awesome product, pairs great with this machine. The next thing that we are going to tackle is this storefront. We're going to focus on just soaping up the glass using the built-in soap reservoir. In a moment, I'm going to pop out, I'm going to grab some soap, we'll fill her up, and we'll see how she does on the surface. So let's go grab that and get us started. Alright guys, so we grabbed our soap. The soap of the day is Holy Grail. The reason we are picking this one, while it's normally a wash and wax product for vehicles, it's going to do a great job on our storefront. Being mostly glass, what we're looking for here is just as spot-free of a rinse as it gets. Does an awesome job on cars. Very similar surface here, so again, we're going for the same results. If you want to fill it up, all you have to do is lift up this lid, pour it in the reservoir, and you're good to go. I've already done that. In a moment, we're going to fire her up, soap up the storefront, rinse it down, and we'll see how the final results are. Before we get going, I'm going to explain one more important thing. We're going to look at the difference between these two tips. If you notice, this white one is a high pressure nozzle. You notice this black one, drastically different, the hole's a lot larger. This is a low pressure nozzle. The only way you will draw soap with downstream injection, which is what this machine has built into it, is by using a low pressure nozzle. So we're going to use this one. We'll soap it up. You'll see the drastic difference between high pressure and low pressure, and then we'll see what it does. Alright, so as you can see, we just applied the soap to the storefront. We're going to let this sit for about 3 to 5 minutes so that the soap can do its job. Not relevant to the machine's use, that's just how most soaps work. You got to let them dwell, otherwise they're not doing anything. As this is sitting there, we're just going to let it soak in. The suds are going to do its job. We'll give it a light high pressure rinse, that way you can see the difference between the soaping nozzle, and we'll see how it looks when we're done. Alright, so what we're going to do real quick is do a quick demo on low pressure versus high pressure. Our low pressure soaping tip that comes with that machine is what we're going to use, and we're going to see what effect it has on the cardboard. Let's check it out. No matter how close I get, it's not really doing much. Let's try that again at high pressure. This is the 15 degree or the yellow tip. Pretty drastic difference. If you look at the two of them, much larger hole, less restriction. This gives you about 300 PSI with that machine. If you look at this one, that high pressure fan tip, this should be about 3,000 PSI with that machine. Drastic difference. This one's for soaping up, this one's for high pressure application of whatever you're doing, all right? Let's go ahead and check out our building. We'll see if it's time to rinse it. All right, so we let that sit for about 5 minutes or so. As you can see, nothing's really dried. It's still pretty bubbly. This is right at the point where you want to start rinsing. If you let the soap dry, you want to reapply the exact same soap. Otherwise, you'll have a hard time getting it off some reflective surfaces like glass or metal. We are going to rinse this time using a high pressure tip. I'm not going to be right up on the surface, so it's still going to be low pressure by the time it hits. But we're just doing that so that we don't draw any more soap out of our reservoir. We'll go ahead and fire it up, give it a quick rinse, and we'll see how it looks afterwards. All right, so as you can see, we've completely rinsed all the glass. As that dries, it's gonna look great when it's done. We went ahead and washed everything off the sidewalk just to get some of that dirt and debris away from it. Now let's talk about proper shutdown of the machine. You're done for the day. As you were using it throughout the day, all you were using was this kill switch over here on the right-hand side. But when you're done and ready to park it for the day, what you need to do is shut off the fuel while it's running. What that's going to do is not allow gasoline to get from the fuel tank into the carburetor. As that valve is closed, it's just going to slowly siphon itself off, feed off all the fumes that are in the carburetor, and eventually it's just going to stall out on its own. It's going to sound like it's struggling in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and fire it up, show you how to turn off the gas, and see what it looks like when it's dying out. So just bear with us for a second and we'll see how it looks. Right now the gas is on. All we're going to do is turn that to the off position all the way over. This will take about 45 seconds to a minute for it to completely kill itself naturally. So just hang tight and listen to what it sounds like. All right, so what we just did is properly shut down the engine. This is what you should do for any pressure washer and really any small engine that's carbureted. And basically, that just allows it to naturally die out. Ethanol is horrible for fuel systems, and if it sits there too long, it'll gum up everything, giving you issues when you start it next time. If we were prepping this for storage, the next thing we would do would just be to winterize the pump. We'll take care of that in a separate video. But right now, that concludes our tutorial on how to use the V7 model. If you have any questions, feel free to click the link below. Shoot us an email, like and subscribe. Let's kill some dirt.
Dirt killer. Let's kill some dirt.